What's up, guys? Jade's Corner back here again for another ranking video, and in today's video it's going to be the first of the Supernatural videos officially on the channel. I'm excited to do this video because I'm talking about one of my all-time favorite series, more than Teen Wolf, more than Vampire Diaries, ever for the first time on the channel. This is probably the series I'm most excited to cover in 2021 because at the current moment I'm kind of getting burnt out on Teen Wolf. I'm going to be starting to talk about my novel True Alpha, which I have some updates on that. I haven't really been working on it as much, but I'm still aiming to hit that June 5th release next year. If not, I'll probably delay it by maybe 2 or 3 months, probably a September release, but we'll talk about that when that happens. So yeah, in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all 15 seasons of Supernatural, the complete series. The series is done, over, it ended a few weeks ago. So now we can talk about all the episodes and how I feel about all the seasons. Now, I have not, as of this recording, I have not finished season 13, and I have not watched season 14 and 15, although I have seen clips. I know what the stories are, and I'm going to be ranking them based off how I would probably base the seasons if I were to get to them by this video, which I haven't yet. So assuming this video goes up tonight, I should probably be most likely done with season 13. I only have 5-6 episodes left, and I should be done with all 15 seasons by the time 2021 starts, if not Christmas time. Actually, no, if not by next week or the end of next week, actually. So yeah, let's get to it. So season 1. Now, season 1 of Supernatural is pretty good in my opinion. Pretty good start to the series. The pilot is amazing. The following episode, Wendigo, is great. Great story. We get introduced to Sam Dean, John, Mary, Bobby, Azazel, the yellow-eyed demon, Meg. We get introduced to all the lore, the Impala, the cult, vampires, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the shtick if you've seen this show. I think that the finale of this season is pretty okay. It's kind of in the middle for me in terms of the finales of Supernatural and how I feel about them. But I think the finale is great, but the main story of this season is basically getting revenge on the yellow-eyed demon for killing Sam and Dean's mom, which has effects on them from when they're little kids. It's pretty much the reason they became hunters in the first place, along with their father. So yeah, first season of Supernatural I think is pretty good, and I think the brothers' relationship, Sam and Dean, is off to a pretty good start this season. So yeah, that's where I have season 1. Season 2, I apologize. Season 2, on the other hand, is my personal favorite season of the show, aside from a season I'm going to get to in about 2 more rankings. Now, season 2 is basically season 1, but so much better. Season 2 takes everything season 1 did and amps it up times 10. It is freaking great. I love season 2, the story of this season. It's basically the expansion of season 1, but it's gone into a lot more detail this season. We learn more about who Azazel really is. We learn more about what's going on with Sam and the children that are like him, the special children. We learn more about John and what he was up to. We also get the introduction of Ellen and Joe and Ash this season and the Roadhouse, and I think that Ellen and Joe are some of my favorite characters on the show. And we also get the introduction to more creatures. We get introduced to the Trickster this season, which he becomes a very, very important character to the show later on. I will get to that in a few more ranking spots. But season 2, the story is just great, and the ending where they finally take out the Yellow Eyes is awesome. Dean using the cult to kill him was freaking badass, and I think All Hell Breaks Loose Part 1 and 2 are up there in my favorite finales of the show. Especially All Hell Breaks Loose Part 1. That was a great freaking episode, and the ending to that episode is great. It's awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about season 2. Season 2 is my personal favorite season. I don't know why, I just love it. I think that everything about this season is great. The way everything's handled, the pacing is pretty much goddamn perfect. And yeah, so that's my opinion on season 2 of Supernatural. Now, season 3 is a bit of a mixed bag. I think it's great, but with a lot more episodes, it would have been probably in the phenomenal. Now, the reason why I say this is a mixed bag is because it's the shortest season of the show. If you guys did not know, in 2007 to 2008, the writer's strike happened. So it caused Supernatural, along with other shows and films, to be shortened. And with Supernatural, this season got shortened from 22 episodes to 16. Now, I think that the way the season handles the main story is pretty good up until the end. It gets pretty rushed because of how short the season is. But Dean's deal, which is the main plot of this season, Dean's deal from season 2, and he basically has 1 year left to live on Earth before hellhounds come and take him and kill him and drag his soul to hell. I think that this season deals with that perfectly, and each episode is focused on pretty much Dean's deal, and it's great. And we have really good episodes. The Christmas special is one of my favorite episodes of all time from Supernatural. The episode where we have Gordon attack Sam and Dean for the final time was great. Wish we could have seen more of Gordon because Sterling K. Brown's an amazing actor. We have Lauren Cohan this season playing Bella Talbot, and I think that her addition to the show was really, really good for the time she was on the show. And we get the introduction of a whole lot more demons. We learn a lot more about demons this season. We get introduced to Lilith, who we learn is the first demon ever created by Lucifer. And we get introduced to one of my personal favorite demons on the entire show, one of my personal favorite characters of this entire series, Ruby, who is played by a actress who is blonde this season. Although, you guys, when you get to the 4th season, when we get to those reactions, you're probably going to be like, why was the actress for Ruby changed? I will explain that when I get to those reactions, but I'm not going to explain it in this video. But yeah, the introduction of Ruby was fucking awesome. I love Ruby. And yeah, man, just a pretty great season in my opinion. Nothing more I have to say about it. Now, actually, I lied. Season 2 is a perfect season, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is right here. Season 4. In my honest, humble opinion, is would definitively be the go-to best season of the entire show if its pacing was a little bit better. But it's my personal favorite season. I meant to say season 2 is my second personal favorite. But season 4 is my personal favorite season of the show. I love this season to death because just everything that happens in the season. The premiere is one of the greatest premieres of the entire show, Lazarus Rising, and the finale, Lucifer Rising, is my favorite finale of the entire show. Just the entire season, beginning to end, is a freaking train ride. It is great. The drama between Sam and Dean this season was awesome. Ruby being the secondary antagonist this season was freaking great. We get introduced to my personal favorite character right behind Sam, Castiel. This season we get introduced to Angels this season, and I think how the show handles Angels is one of the best, if not the best, we've ever seen on television. The way they do the angel wings, where they have the shadows cast in the back, when they try to intimidate people is awesome. It's one of the best ways Angel Wings have been done ever, in my opinion. And I think Eric Kripke handled the introduction of, the Apocalypse, the Heaven versus Hell war really, really great. And, just everything about this season is great, man. I know I keep saying great and it's getting kind of repetitive, but it really is great. It's a phenomenal season. And, we get introduced. Castiel is not the only angel we get introduced to. We get introduced to Anna, Uriel, and man, listen. The demons of the season are cool too. Lilith coming back, being the main antagonist once again, was great. Although we saw more of her this season, but I would say she was a lot more tame this season than last season because of her goal towards the end, which was achieved. And Alistair made for a really great, intimidating villain too. He put Castiel and Dean in a certain place in one specific episode and gave them a run for their money. But, Sam was the undisputed GOAT this season. Sam was not really himself, but I still like Sam. I loved Sam a lot this season. I think this is one of the best seasons for Sam Winchester of all time. He's a freaking beast this season, and it's great. You guys just have to check it out for yourself. So season 4 is definitely my personal favorite, and in my opinion, the best season of Supernatural for sure. If somebody were to ask me what season if you had to name me a season right now to check out from Supernatural, what would it be? I'd automatically say 4. 4 is awesome. Now, here's everybody's perfect, in their opinion, and their favorite season, and it's season 5. And season 5 to a lot of people is the best season of the show, but in my opinion, it's the 3rd best season of the show. I don't know why I have it there. I just like 2 and 4 way more, but season 5 is still a phenomenal season, so I'm going to put it up here with the 4th and 2nd seasons. Now, season 5 of Supernatural was, like season 4, a train ride from beginning to end. From Sympathy for the Devil, which was the first episode, and seeing the aftermath of the season 4 finale right where it left off was awesome. We get introduced to the Archangels this season: Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Lucifer. Lucifer is the main antagonist this season, and his actor, Mark Pellegrino, is the best Lucifer actor of all time. I don't care what anybody says, that man can act his ass off, and he is amazing as Lucifer. I'm so glad he came back in the future seasons when I get to those specific seasons. But yeah, Lucifer is a great main antagonist, even though he's not in the season as much as I wanted him to be. But he's still great when he is on screen. He steals the show from everybody else completely. And we get introduced to kind of sort of God, but not really. It's not really revealed that Chuck is God until later on in the show, but it's heavily implied that he is, especially in the finale Swan Song, which is definitively the best episode of Supernatural of all time. Every true Supernatural fan knows that Swan Song was the best episode of the entire show and still is. No episode before or after has surpassed it. There's only been one episode, in my opinion, which has been close. Two actually. And that's the season 8 finale and the season 15 finale, but we'll get to those when we get to those seasons. But season 5 season is just great, man. You have really great episodes like the Changing Channels episode where we find out that the trickster is the Archangel Gabriel. We have Hammer of the Gods, which is a hilarious episode. It features Odin, freaking Baldur, if you guys are familiar with the God of War PlayStation 4 game. Just a whole bunch of gods in that episode, and it's crazy. Ganesh, like the Indian elephant god, I'm pretty sure he is. You guys can correct me on that in the comment section below if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that is the Indian elephant god, Ganesh. But yeah, just a great season overall, man. And I know I'm rambling on about this season, but it really is that good. I'd say season 4 and 5 back-to-back are the best back-to-back seasons of quality the show had during its entire run. Hands down. They're great. Check them out. This next season, on the other hand, I can't really say anything positive for it, and that is season 6. I'm gonna be honest with you. Season 6, I didn't really like that much at all. And here's why. It has the Spider-Man 3 syndrome. You know how Teen Wolf season 6 part 2 just had a lot of bad, and how it was just all over the place and it couldn't stay focused on one thing when we wanted it to be focused on one thing. That's how Supernatural season 6 feels. We deal with Sam losing his soul after coming back from Lucifer's cage. We deal with Dean and his life basically retired from being a hunter with Lisa and Ben. We deal with Eve and Purgatory. Castiel is the main villain of this season. We deal with him teaming up with Crowley, who's now the King of Hell. And we deal with the Angel War in heaven between Castiel and Raphael. And then we also deal with trying to think. Oh, and Sam and Dean's grandfather comes back this season too, so we have to deal with him and, his plot. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on this season. Like I said, it's Spider-Man 3 syndrome. Way too much going on. A lot of stuff that does go on I don't really care for. The Eve stuff was probably the best stuff throughout this entire season, because Eve, I think the actress who played her, she's very, very cute, by the way, and she's a great actress in my opinion. I think she played that role really well. And Castiel being the main villain, him being my second favorite character on the show, it was kind of jarring to see him go in that direction, but I guess that's the direction the new showrunner wanted to go in, because Eric Kripke left the show after season 5, which was unfortunate because he's responsible for the entire series existing in the first place. But season 6 is a mixed bag. A lot of the episodes just don't work for me. It's very rushed. It's very unfocused. There's no direction. But I will say that the last few episodes of season 6 of Supernatural are great, especially the finale. I love the finale. Raphael's death was awesome to see, and Castiel becoming, I'm going to use heavy air quotes for this, God, was also very, very, very awesome to see. So, yeah. Now, we get on to what everybody usually considers the worst season of the show, but I fucking love this season. This season is freaking awesome. And that's season 7. I think I like season 7 more than 3. Now, season 7 of Supernatural deals with the first of beast that God ever created, the Leviathans. And the main plot line for this season is basically hunting and killing all the Leviathans and sending their asses back to Purgatory. And this season is freaking hilarious. It's probably one of the funniest seasons of the show. We deal with Sam getting his soul back, seeing the visions of Lucifer. Mark Pellegrino comes back and plays Lucifer for a majority of episodes this season, only as part of Sam's visions in his head, and his acting is once again top notch. Bobby dies this season, and his death is sad as hell because I really love Bobby, and Bobby's one of my favorite characters too. So to see him go is really, really sad. We get introduced to Kevin Tran this season. I love Kevin. Kevin was cool. We get introduced to Charlie this season, who I wasn't really fond of when I first saw Charlie, but later on throughout the seasons, you really start to love her as you learn more about her backstory, and I absolutely love Charlie by the time the later seasons come around, as well as Kevin, even though I kind of like Kevin from the start. The main bad guy this season is Dick Roman. He's the leader of the Leviathans, and I think that his actor is okay. We don't really see too much of him, but when he's on screen, he's very, very, I would say sinister is the word to describe him. He's not really intimidating, but he's very sinister. I would say the one weak point this season is the Leviathans design themselves. I think with better CGI and better special effects, they could have been really, really freaking scary. But the way the CGI was implemented and making the Leviathan's face open up, showing their teeth and their tongue, I think that the CGI didn't do them justice, but they were still cool nonetheless. And they were the hardest creatures Sam and Dean ever had to take down at the time, aside from most likely the Archangels and Angels themselves, because Angels were still giving Sam and Dean problems and a hard time this season. And to find out that Angels were kind of weak this season because Leviathans were stronger than Angels. They were able to kill Angels with ease. So to find that out was also really, really cool. And I think that the finale was very anticlimactic. The way that Dick Roman went out was very, very rushed, in my opinion. But the ending of this season is great. It's a great setup for season 8. And yeah, that's all I really have on season 7. It's really, really good. I would recommend if you guys watch Supernatural and you've seen this season and you didn't like it, upon first viewing, go back and rewatch it. It's actually better than you think it is, at least in my opinion. So yeah. Next season we have season 8. And season 8 I'm going to put in the good tier. Now, the reason why I have season 8 in good is because the first 10-11 episodes are absolute fucking garbage. Those episodes were some of the worst episodes I've ever seen from the show. They were so boring, so bad, and I just wanted to move past them so we can get to the rest of the season, because I was like, it can't get worse than this. It cannot get worse than this. We had to deal with Dean and his flashbacks to Purgatory with his vampire friend Benny, which I didn't give a shit about. Then we also had to deal with Sam and his new love life being on Earth for 1 year by himself, which I also didn't give a shit about. And that was just horrible to watch for the first 10 episodes. And I was like, bro, can we please move past this and get to something better? Thank God the second half of season 8 of Supernatural does get better towards the end, when we start getting to the plot of closing the gates of hell, which is the main plot for this season. And all the trials were great. Seeing them happen on screen, Sam doing all the trials was amazing. We actually got to see hell for the first time this season and what it looks like, and it's very, very cool. The scenery and the look of hell, I think the look is fire. It's tough, no pun intended. And the ending, the season finale is the second best finale of the entire show, in my opinion. Sacrifice, that episode is awesome. It has some of the best acting from Jared and Jensen we've seen on the entire show, and the ending is what makes the episode for me. Sacrifice, its ending is just, it was just really shocking to see, because Metatron, not Megatron, the Transformer, Metatron, the angel, Archangel in real life, if you know your Bible stuff, your religious stuff, but Metatron, the angel, takes Castiel's grace, casts the angels out of heaven, and the ending scene is awesome. All the angels falling out of heaven, they look like meteorites. You just see a meteor shower of every angel that was ever in heaven fall out into the sky, and you have Sam, Dean, Castiel look up into the sky as they are helpless to do nothing but just watch the angels lose their powers, come out of heaven, and they're all pretty much on Earth now, and they can't get back into heaven. So yeah, season 8 is just good. Those first 10, 11 episodes, though, are absolute garbage. I hate them so much. But we're going to get on to another season, which I am very, very fond of. And the poster for this season is what got me interested in the show in the first place. A lot of people say this season is meh, it's not that good. But honestly, I think this season is pretty great. And that is season 9 of Supernatural. Now, season 9 deals with the aftermath of the angels' fall from heaven and Metatron casting them out. It also deals with the night of hell, Abaddon, and Sam almost dying pretty much in the season 8 finale. So Sam is possessed by an angel for the first 10 episodes of the season. He doesn't know. The angel lies, says he's the angel Ezekiel, but he's really the angel Gadriel, who was supposed to look after Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, but let Adam and Eve go to the tree, let the snake manipulate them, blah, blah, blah. You know the story of Adam and Eve. And then Gadriel got cast into Heaven's prison, and that's where he's been since the start of season 9, pretty much, for over 1,000,000 years or some crazy stuff like that. So yeah, I think that the main plot of stopping Abaddon and Metatron this season was pretty good. They managed to stop Abaddon first, but then the other subplot this season, which was the Mark of Cain plot, we get introduced to Cain and Abel Cain, and we find out that he is also a Knight of Hell. In fact, the first Knight of Hell, and probably the most powerful aside from Dean. Or, well, that's a spoiler for season 10. My fault, I didn't mean to say that, but he's probably the most powerful besides him. And yeah, we deal with that plot. Dean gets the Mark of Cain, and the Mark of Cain, it's important, but we don't really find out what its real importance is until season 11, or I should say the end of season 10. But that storyline was supposed to technically be wrapped up in season 9, but it got stretched out to season 10, which I'm going to get to when I get to that season. But season 9 finale, Do You Believe in Miracles, is my third favorite finale of the entire show. The final fight between Metatron and Dean, it was pretty cool to watch. Dean's death was sad to see, but the ending, I think, is what made that episode for me, because the ending was just one of the most wild, and it was one of the craziest endings of the whole show, for sure. So Dean dies. We think he's dead. He's in the room. Crowley appears and he's talking to Dean. He knows that Dean's gonna come back, but we don't know what's happening. And we're like, why is Crowley there? Dean is laying on his bed, and little do we know, we see the first blade, which is the only weapon that can kill a Knight of Hell, and it's extremely powerful in the hands of a Knight of Hell. And we see Dean's eyes open and they're pure black. So Dean became a demon, which was insane and awesome, and it was very disappointing at the same time. And that's where we get into the next season, which is season 10. I'm gonna easily put that in meh. Season 10 is, in my opinion, the second worst season of the show, because it was just like it was season 6 but slightly less. It was the Spider-Man 3 syndrome, but not really as much of it. So the Demon Dean arc, which was the first 3 episodes of season 10, was so short. I was so freaking pissed off and angry because it didn't last as long as I wanted it to. And I was just like, man, why did they cure Dean so quick? Should have been a demon for at least like half the season. Like, damn, they got rid of him quick. And then we deal with Crowley's mother coming back, Rowena, who is the main antagonist this season. And I love Rowena. I loved her from the jump. I love her actress. I love her accent. And I love when she says Crowley's real name, Fergus. I love her Scottish accent. It's tough, bro. But yeah. And the main plot line of this season is a subplot from season 9, which I mentioned before, which is the Mark of Cain plot, which is getting rid of the Mark of Cain once and for all. And it leads to a pretty good finale, which I would consider one of the better ones of the series, which is Brother's Keeper, which Dean finally gets rid of the finale, or gets rid of the Mark of Cain, and Death, the big Grim Reaper himself, warns Dean that if he gets rid of the Mark of Cain and destroys it, that it will unleash a force as old as him and God himself, called the Darkness, onto the world. And Death does not want that to happen. So he tries to get Dean to kill Sam. Sam tries to get Sam to die, tries to lock Dean away in another, dimension for all of eternity so that the Darkness doesn't get out. That fails. Dean kills Death, which is crazy. It was crazy to see. And they get rid of the Mark of Cain, and the Darkness is let out, and that's the end of season 10. So yeah. And also, Claire Novak, the worst character in Supernatural, was introduced this season. Fuck her, she's terrible. Now, on to a top 5 season of mine, and that's Supernatural season 11. Now, season 11 is one of the best seasons of the whole show, hands down. Dealing with the Darkness was awesome. We got the reveal that Chuck was finally God this season, which was crazy to see, but that didn't happen until towards the end. Dealing with Amara, who, oh my god, the actress is beautiful, to say the least. But dealing with Amara was awesome. I love her actress. She played the distressed, sort of psychopathic, at losing her mind, sort of big sister figure really, really well. And I think that all the episodes this season are great. There is no episode that I didn't like. There was one really cool episode that dealt with banshees, in which Sam's kind of soulmate gets introduced. Her name is Eileen Leahy, and she's deaf, and so she's disabled. But that's not knocking her character. I still love her character regardless. Never knock disabled people. That's very, very wrong to do. But yeah, she's great. I love Eileen. I love Eileen to death. And what happens to her in season 12 was very uncalled for and unjustified, and I hated it. So yeah, but the finale this season, Alpha and Omega, was very disappointing. I think it was anticlimactic how it was done. It was a huge letdown. But the episode prior to the season finale was great. I love that episode. That episode was awesome. But yeah, Alpha and Omega was a disappointing finale, and that's where I'm going to rank season 11. So yeah, season 12, it's kind of a mixed bag. I just finished season 12 last week as of the recording of this video, and I think that it was an okay season. The beginning of it, dealing with Mary Winchester coming back to life, and the British Men of Letters getting introduced, and Lucifer basically jumping bodies after escaping his cage and helping out with the darkness in season 11, trying to find a suitable host for himself. I think all that stuff was it was okay at best. And then we get into the main plot of the season, which is stopping Lucifer's child from being born, who we all know later on in the series is Jack, who becomes one of the main characters of the show. And I think the second half of season 12 is actually really, really good when it really starts to pick up. The destruction of the British Men of Letters is awesome. That episode is great, and that's mainly because I don't like the British Men of Letters. I didn't really like that plot at all. They killed a lot of really, really great characters. Like Eileen got killed by the British Men of Letters. It was sad to see her go, but I was like, damn, bro, why they do that to her? But come on, bro, dang. But all along the Watchtower, the finale is one of my personal favorite finales of the whole show. It was just crazy. The stakes and just the shock factor of it was probably why I liked it so much. If none of that stuff didn't happen, it would probably be one of the weaker finales. But seeing Castiel die, seeing Crowley go out for one final stand, seeing Mary and Lucifer getting taken to an alternate universe was insane. And then the ending scene, which was Jack coming to life, Sam finding him in a corner of his bedroom, him flashing his Nephilim eyes, looking very, very intimidating and scary as hell, was a great ending. So, yeah, that's season 12 for me. It's just good. I apologize. Now, season 13. This is the season I'm currently watching right now, and I'd have to say season 13 is pretty great so far. There's not anything that I don't like about season 13 so far. It has one of the most outlandish episodes I've ever seen in the TV series, which was Scooby Natural. That episode is awesome. That episode is amazing. Sam and Dean and Cash team up with Scooby-Doo and his gang, and it's great, bro. And the plot of getting rid of alternate Michael from the alternate universe is pretty great too. And I've seen the finale of this season, even though I'm not done watching it, so I can comment on that too. Jack also being introduced this season, fleshing out his character, him, getting accustomed to the world after being born was great to watch too. Seeing the alternate universe versions of certain characters who died in the main universe was awesome. Bobby coming back, Charlie coming back, Kevin coming back was cool. And seeing some angels who died in our main universe and seeing them come back was cool too. Zachariah, even though he was barely in any episodes, and Jack killed the shit out of him, but it was also cool to see him come back too for a little bit, even if it wasn't really the Zachariah we knew. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see. And the finale, which was the final episode of Lucifer until season 15, Lucifer finally bites the dust. He dies. Dean, with alternate Michael possessing him, kills him. He's the one that's part of my intro when Dean kind of stands up and his eyes are glowing white and the angel wings pop out. That's where that scene is from, the season 13 finale. The fight choreography is the worst of the entire show. The wiring effects they were horrible, but I think that taking out Lucifer was great. I love seeing that occur, but Jesus Christ, that fight was horrible. Terrible choreography. And last but not least, we have the final two seasons 14 and 15, and where would I personally rank them if I were to get to them? Because I have not seen either of those seasons as of the recording of this video, but I will by the time the reaction videos come out. So season 14, from what I've heard about with the plot and the clips I've seen, I think that I'm going to rank it as a pretty good season. Yeah. I'm going to put it back here for now because I haven't seen it yet. But season 14 deals with taking out alternate Michael once and for all. And then it also deals with the plot line of Jack losing his soul and basically becoming a villain for the remainder of the season. God also comes back this season, Chuck, and it leads to one of the greatest finales of the entire show, in my opinion, Moriah, which it had one of the craziest endings of all time of Supernatural. God revealing that he's not really for us and that he's just playing with our lives and just using Sam and Dean for fun, having them get killed over and over again for fun. Everything that happened from season 1 to 14 was just so that God could be personally entertained. And once we found that out, and then God saying welcome to the end, trying to kill Sam and Dean once and for all, no longer playing any games, and unleashing the apocalypse, the real apocalypse, was crazy. That ending scene where all the zombies gang up on Sam, Dean, and Cass, and they all close in on them in the graveyard, and you have the song playing in the background, God Was Never on Your Side, is one of the most genius concepts for an ending I've seen on the show yet. And yeah, I think this is where I would pretty much rank season 14 if I were to watch it. But I'll put a comment once I finish these two seasons where I would probably change them if my opinions differ. But season 15, I think when I watch that season, it will probably go in the great tier, just because it's the final season, so it has to be great. I know it probably will be great, and this is the season where I'm probably not going to give any spoilers at all except the ending. The ending is my third favorite finale of the entire show. It's great, it's amazing, it's awesome. The episode before the series finale is really, really great. Taking out Chuck once and for all, the final battle with God was awesome. I will just say that it was awesome. The beginning of the episode was kind of disappointing, but the final battle with God was awesome. So I'll just say that. And that's my definitive ranking of all 15 seasons of Supernatural. Let me know how you guys like this ranking video. Do you guys like this list? Do you guys hate it? Are you guys in the middle? Let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, this is Jade's Corner. I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity. Don't forget to like this video. Like I said before, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in Supernatural content, as well as Teen Wolf and Vampire Diaries content. Usually out every other week or week or so. Usually depends on when I feel like uploading a video at this point until 2021 when I release that official schedule. And I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you guys also turn on post notifications so you're notified when I post a new video whenever they're up. And enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out this thing. Peace.